Thanks, Kieran Corley. I want to ask again about the refugee discrimination that the government is engaged in. I want to ask again, why is a person from Ukraine more entitled to be accommodated than a person from Yemen or from Syria when both are fleeing unsafe conditions? Taoiseach earlier said, well, because they have a different status. But that's a political decision for you to give them a different status. So it doesn't answer the question. Why treat them differently? Is it because one is European? Is it because one is white? This anti-certain refugee policy is merely scapegoating the most vulnerable in our society, trying to cover up the fact that the government's housing policy is a complete failure. This policy will see hundreds of additional men and women rough sleeping in the coming weeks, exacerbating the crisis. Those who arrived yesterday received a €20 Dunn's voucher and were told they would be emailed when the accommodation becomes available. It's absolutely scandalous. Again, when you have over 160,000 vacant homes in this state that the government is doing nothing about. Do you accept, by the way, there's no such thing as an illegal asylum seeker? Everyone has the right to come here and apply for asylum.
Welcome here. Finally, just in relation to the refugee crisis, as I said earlier, I think we shouldn't forget the context. We're facing an unprecedented situation with a refugee crisis in Europe, the likes of which we haven't seen since World War II, the likes of which we've never seen in Ireland. And last year, let's not forget, we welcomed almost 100,000 people to Ireland from Ukraine and from other parts of the world. We provided them with shelter, with food, with heat, with light, with education for their children, with healthcare, and in many cases employment. So I think we can be proud as a society of what we've done in the past year. There is no lack of compassion from the government or from the Irish people, but there is a lack of capacity. And we are doing all we can at the moment to source more accommodation. In the meantime, we have to prioritise, and we will be prioritising people coming here from Ukraine, but also people not coming here from Ukraine, children, families, vulnerable adults, and of course programme refugees. But we can't guarantee accommodation for everyone that comes to the country unannounced. We certainly will not turn anyone away, but we would say to people that if they are thinking of coming to Ireland and they're in a safe country, they're in a safe place, they have accommodation, that they need to be aware of the fact that accommodation is not necessarily available in Ireland. People coming here have all sorts of different status. Citizens from the EU and the UK are free to come here at will, provided they can support themselves. We issue 40,000 work permits every year to people of every colour, race and religion who come here legally, and they're allowed to do that, and they're extremely welcome. We need them to power our economy and run our public services. Doesn't matter what their race or religion or colour is. People who come here from Ukraine are beneficiaries of temporary protection under EU law, which is above national law, and have a particular status. Programme refugees, including those coming from Syria, for example, have a particular status. Those who are seeking international protection also have a particular status, but it is a different status to the ones that I mentioned.